London Tottenham fans, lots and lots of rumours going around that Ange Postecoglou may be fired during the international break. And a lot of the managers that have been talked about, I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about why I think we shouldn't be rushing to get rid of Ange and replace him for these managers I'm going to mention, because I still don't think that we are thinking this through properly. I'm going to give winning percentages from these managers, and I'm going to compare them to Ange Postecoglou's win percentage for this season and explain why we shouldn't be rushing into these deals. Now, the first manager I want to speak about today is Thomas Frank. Now, we've been linked to Thomas Frank quite a few times, probably last season as well, and the season before Ange came in, we was linked to Thomas Frank. Now, don't get me wrong, these managers that I'm going to talk about are decent managers, but are they just decent managers for their level? And if they up to their level, would they excel at a team like Spurs, where there's a lot more pressure to win games, as Ange Postecoglou has found out? Now, there's examples of this like Graham Potter, where Graham Potter has come into, a bigger club like Chelsea and from Brighton, who for me, he was doing very, very well at. But he's moved to Chelsea. Expectations were much higher. He didn't get his time to put in his stamp on things. And in the end, they got rid of him because the fans were used to winning now. You know what I'm saying? So Thomas Frank, for example, this season so far, he's played 34 games and he's had 14 victories in that time. This is in all competitions. That's a 41% win rate, which for me is not great. I know he's got Brentford, no disrespect for Brentford. Maybe 41% win rate for Brentford is good, but that's the expectations for Brentford. And so, but he's only playing one game per week, and he's suffered nowhere near as many injuries as Ange Postecoglou. Compare this to Ange Postecoglou this season, who's played 46 games, which is now like 12 games more than Thomas Frank has had to deal with. He's had to play twice per week and suffered so many injuries, only had 13 players available to play 2 games per week. And Postecoglou has managed to win in all competitions 21 games out of those 46, which is a 45% win rate. So comparing that to Thomas Frank playing 1 game per week, not having to deal with even half the amount of injuries that we've had, and to only have a 41% win rate, is it wise to jump the gun and jump straight to Thomas Frank, thinking that, because he's a little bit more pragmatic, we might get better results? Well, we might win less if he's in charge, and we might draw more, maybe, but there's not a massive rise in standards if you want to say, let's go from Ange Postecoglou to Thomas Frank. Ange Postecoglou has dealt with a lot this season and got a higher win percentage than Thomas Frank. Now, moving on to the next guy that many people are saying is going to be the guy that turns us around, he's the guy that's going to take us forward, is Iraola from Bournemouth. Now, don't get me wrong. If Iraola came in, I'll support him just as much as I've supported Ange. I'll support any Tottenham manager that comes in, and I'll give him my full backing. Don't get me wrong. But Iraola has played 33 games this season in all competitions and won 14. His win percentage is 42%. So 1% more than Thomas Frank. He's played 1 game per week this season. He's played 13 games less than Ange Postecoglou and hasn't had to deal with as many injuries as Ange Postecoglou has dealt with, and for the amount of time. So when I'm talking about the injuries as well, just remember, we lost players for 2.5, 3 months, not lost players for a game here, a game there. Like Bournemouth have lost a few players for a few games, a few weeks, but not months on end. Like we've lost our 2 main centre-backs, our main goalkeeper, our left-back, our striker. We had a midfielder banned for 7 games. So it's not like, you know, he's the Messiah or anything. Like, are we ready to jump the gun straight away to Iraola when he's got a 42% win rate? Ange Postecoglou's got a 45% win rate, even though he's dealing with all the stuff he's had to deal with at a club with higher expectations. Like, the fans are on his back every single week. He's won 21 out of 46 games. Yeah, he's lost 19, but you know, the loss rate is bad, and I understand that. But if he turned a few of them into draws, would everybody be turning on him so much? And those draws wouldn't have got you that much higher in the league. What, 5 more points if you got 5 draws and 5 less losses? It's not, his win rate is half decent, And then you've got, for everything he's been through, then we've got Marco Silva. Marco Silva has played 34 games this season, and he's won 15. Out of the 3 that are contending for this job, he's got the highest win rate with 44%. He's got the highest win rate, but out of all the 3 teams, yeah, he's probably second, because it's Bournemouth, then Fulham, then Brentford, I think, in the league. So, but he's got a 44% win rate. Still below Ange Postecoglou, and he's playing again 1 game per week, not dealing with the amount of injuries that we've had, not at a club with higher pressure than what Ange is going through. Is it really logical to jump straight to these managers and think that they're going to turn everything around? I will back them, like I said, but I guarantee you, the people that are not backing Ange now will be turning on these managers because the win rate won't be as high. If you go to Spurs and you think that you're going to be a better manager because you've got better resources, but did Graham Potter become a better manager when he had better resources at Chelsea? No, he was doing better at Brighton, in my opinion. So it doesn't always work that way. So it's not like, changing manager is going to change fortunes for Spurs. It starts from the top for me. Whoever we bring in, if Levy doesn't back them, it's pointless anyway. We've tried to win now managers. I'll give you a little fun fact. Jose Mourinho's first 35 games, he won 16 of them in all competitions, which means he was on a 45% win rate, the same as what Ange is on now. And that was a new manager bounce with Jose. One of the best managers that's ever been in the game, in my opinion. So his win percentage was the same as Ange's is now, and we want Ange out the door. But look at how much Ange has had to deal with. Jose did not have injuries to all his main players when he got that win rate, by the way. If Jose Mourinho didn't have Harry Kane, Sonny, Ericsson, Dyer at the back at the time it was. I think it was for Tongan, and it might have been for Tongan and Alderweireld still. But if he didn't have them and he didn't have Luis, like we've suffered with that many injuries this year, do you think Jose would have had a win rate of 45%? He might not have. He might have, but I don't think so. The squad wasn't great either. So is it wise for us to be jumping the gun so quickly and getting rid of Ange? We've brought in all the players he wants now. People are saying he's got his players back and he's not winning. Of course, they're not match fit yet. They've just got back. They've still got to get back playing again week in, week out. They've been back for a week. Half of them are on the bench because they can't play 4 games in 2 weeks at the moment. So I just think it'd be a massive mistake to just... Look, listen, I understand as well that the people that want Ange out, I'm not going to argue that you're wrong either. I'm not going to say that you should keep Ange in all the way. You're deluded. I'm not saying things like that. I'm just saying, is it wise to get rid of him now? Because a lot of people want him gone now. Is it wise to get rid of him now, or wait till the end of the season? At least wait until the Europa League's done, and then make a decision. Because for me, he's got the players are still playing for him. That's clear to see. They still speak highly of him. There's still chance of getting through in this Europa League. Frankfurt, everyone's saying that Frankfurt are this amazing side and we've got no chance. They're not unbeatable. They're not, and we can beat them. So I just think it's just jumping the gun now would be a mistake, just in my opinion. But let me know in the comments what you think. Do you want Ange gone now? Do you think it's wise to just let him go into the end of the season? And come on, you Spurs.